What is up, everybody? Welcome to the TnT Clan Wars Week 5. We've got PXB, my clan, versus Trumpets Clan, FXB. And speaking of trumpets, let's get him on the horn here. He's going to be casting with me today, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So yeah, and then after this, we are going to be doing the drawings for TNT Championship 2021. I got Trumpet on the line. What's going on, man?
Not much. Ready for some clan wars.
Yeah, this should be pretty fun. So, some background. You guys are traditionally from StarCraft 2, right?
That is correct. We're a StarCraft 2 clan for I don't know how long. Many years.
That's awesome. Yeah, I used to compete like a little bit in college, but I still follow the scene pretty often. I watch a lot of the Africa TV stuff for StarCraft 2 and Brood War, so that's cool, man. Glad to see more StarCraft people coming over. You've been playing for a while, but I think you've been getting more and more of your teammates over, right?
Yeah, I think that the oldest player in our clan in terms of Tooth and Tail experience is either Blowdeer or Pillow. And I just independently started playing Tooth and Tail. And between the three of us, I guess there was enough Tooth and Tail going on to convince some people to give it a shot.
Nice. Yeah, so Pillow 8 is part FXB? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
He
been
was
playing
casting.
since the beginning, man. He's been here since 2017.
Yeah, he doesn't make many public appearances, but he came out of the woodwork to cast yesterday.
That's awesome. Cool. Well, we did a sound check. Everything should be good. Let me know in the chat how the levels are, but I think I got us pretty good. And that's it. We're ready to roll here. In game number 1 between Sassy and Tell 'em Teach, both beginner categories. So this should be good.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what these players go for. Beginners have lots of creative decks that are fun to look at.
Yeah, definitely. I hope we see a lot of like multiple tier 3 or some artillery or something crazy like that. All right, we just need old Teach to ready back up, and we'll be all set. So then after this, yeah, we're going to do the drawings. I've got a bunch of hats and cups, and that's going to be cool. The TNT Championship 2021 has a lot different of a format this year, or this season, I should say, kind of mimicking GSL-style groups. All right, here we go. Don't have to rant anymore. The players are ready. They're selecting their decks now. So Squirrel Lizard from Tell 'em Teach, always solid. Yeah, here he goes, Sassy with the triple tier 3, man. All right, hopping into game number 1 here. Match number 1, spawning on the left-hand side, representing Clan Pboop. We've got Sassy Marquez, and over in the bottom, what is it? Formless Sloth Bears, or what's the full name?
Formless bear slots.
I was close. Formless bear slots. We got Tell 'em Teach. So okay, what are you thinking about these decks, Trumpet? My personal opinion, I think Teach's deck is more like solid, and Sassy's being a little crazy here.
Well, the thing about Sassy's deck is this is ran by quite a few high-level players nowadays. I know Meek runs it a lot. I think I've seen Night Slayer play it. I play a variation of this with a balloon. I have a suspicion that they saw my deck and were like, this would be better with barbed wire, which I consider, sacrilegious, but...
Right. Yeah, I think Gentleman ran this last week for Clan PXB against Melvin Fro, if I recall correctly, or at least it was very similar. I remember he had the skunk wire and the wolf fox. I don't really recall about the owl, but I like putting owl in fox decks. It seems to make a lot of sense because, fox is a really fun unit, but it can be hard countered by things like owl, so it gives you more options in the late game.
Yeah, I think that the Sassy's deck is all about surviving. If you can get to the late game, your composition is insane. And Teach's deck is not all about surviving because it has a lot of tools compositionally that can keep you alive. So like you feel pretty safe on Skunk Chameleon Squizzard until pretty much the very late game.
Yeah, I agree. I think Tell 'em Teach's deck is definitely more mid-range. It's got a lot of options to kind of push some attacks, and you've got that wolf and that balloon if you really need it in the late game, but you don't necessarily have to get there. So both sides open up some quick expands here. This is kind of a short map, so maybe we'll see some aggression coming out probably from Teach. It looks like Sassy is already trying to make some barbed wire, you know, kind of put his foot on the ground here.
Yeah, so this barbed wire covers... It's interesting because in order to close this choke off entirely, Sassy has to build a giant barbed wire wall all the way across to, like, past the campfire. So getting it started, I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing that's always interesting about the wire is sometimes, you know, you can feel safe around it, but, you know, Teach can just kind of walk around and hit kind of perpendicular to the expansion there. And that's why sometimes you'll see players, instead of clumping the wire up like this, like they'll spread it out a little bit, get a little more coverage, more bang for the buck, but nothing crazy just yet. It looks like Sassy is pulling ahead a little bit in the farms, but Teach is already getting up to the chameleons, so I'm curious if he might go like double cam and try to make something happen, or if he's just going to keep macroing up.
I'd definitely like to see the wolf out of Teach. I think that would be nice to just bust through with wolf buff chameleons before we get to Owl Zone.
Yeah, and one thing that's neat about Sassy taking this position up here is it might be a little difficult for Teach to grab these more forward mills, you know, now that Sassy's kind of planted his flag up here on the high ground. You know, Teach could take this 3 o'clock base as a third, though. So we'll see where this goes, if it's going to keep being a macro game. Teach kind of looking around this other side. Yeah, could do a lizard attack, kind of in the area that his commander's moving through now. That could be cool to see.
Yeah, so Teach is banking up a lot of money right now. I assume he'll go home and buy something, probably a tier 3, maybe a lot of tier 2s.
Oh, there's that wolf. Cool. So Teach plays StarCraft? What race is he?
Teach plays, I think he's played all of the races. Most recently, he's been practicing Protoss.
Yeah.
But he's also randomed in the past. I've seen him play some of the other races. I don't know if he identifies as a Protoss.
I started getting back into playing Brood War like a month ago, man, and that's so much fun. It's really big commitment to stay like up to date in that game, you know, and really strong enough. But it's almost like everybody is so bad that I'm playing against. You know, we're all like managing crises constantly. All right, we got Wolf Owl coming out from Sassy here. Well, let's see who's scouted what tier 3. Teach hasn't seen Sassy's yet. Oh, we got the triple tier 3. Alright, Sassy's coming in. He already did scout the wolf, so maybe that's what made Sassy to decide to go up to their own tier 3. And here's that 3 o'clock base I was talking about earlier from Teach, getting that third up and running.
So it feels like to me, Teach should want to try to end the game before these tier 3s come out. That being said, his wolf is only a tiny bit ahead of Sassy's wolf.
Right.
Which means the owl is almost certainly going to get out.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see a timing attack when the tier 3 hits, but, I mean, like you were just mentioning, you know, the tier 3 from Sassy isn't too far behind. And right now, I mean, this is just a big macro game, and nobody's attacked anyone yet. And I always think these are fascinating situations to get into, you know, especially at lower levels, because after that big army clash happens, you know, if neither side just straight up wins, you've got a lot of decision making on like what warrens you go home and you sell, you know, because you're not going to be able to reafford to rebuild everything. But here comes Teach moving in for the first attack of the game, pushing forward into a lot of skunk gas. Did try to get around that wire. He is getting a little bit of farm damage done here. Lots of units going back for both sides, but Teach is not going to overcommit. Going to get a little bit of damage done and walk away. Overall, I think that was alright. I mean, Teach lost a little bit more, but did kill a farm. He is coming in again. I don't know. Sassy's starting to push him back here. Ooh, the wolf going down. Yeah.
I mean, Teach is up very high in economy, so if he's able to take out a tier 3 or 2 here...
Yeah, that's a really good point. You know, if Teach doesn't take critical damage here, he's basically doubling Sassy's economy. It looks like all the tier 3 will live, but most of the supporting units went down. But this Wolf Buff Fox is just going to work here, just sniping so many units.
Yeah, I don't think this was a bad idea from Teach to just get really far ahead economically. Just a couple of fights where he didn't pull back his units and save them.
Yeah, and if the map was bigger, it could have gone a lot better in Teach's favor, I think. But that is it for game number 1. Sassy pulling ahead 1-0 so far. Nice match from both sides, though. It was kind of a little bit of a weird one because they basically built up all game, and it was a situation where, all right, the one big engagement, kind of decided it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate the play from Teach. Teach going for the more challenging approach to dealing with it, which is be ahead economically,
right,
and just overwhelm and swarm it,
yeah,
which can go horribly wrong.
I think
that game it didn't go that bad,
right.
You know,
I don't think Teach scouted the tier 3, and if he did, I think the move would have been to go down on the tier 1 a little bit, I think. I don't know, it's hard because, like, the tier 1 gets wrecked by the owl, but the tier 2 gets beat by the fox, so let's see what happens.
Another option there would have been to build a balloon wall and just go for, like, a star game or something. I don't know how it would have cut up the map.
Yeah, especially if there's a little bit more time. I think on a bigger map, that strategy would have worked for Teach. But in the bottom, up one map so far in this set, we've got Sassy Marquez, and over on the left-hand side, we've got Tell 'em Teach. Same deck coming out from Sassy. Looks like Tell 'em Teach teched out, what was it, the skunks for the snakes here?
That's right, yeah.
And looking at the map, again, this is a little bit of a similar situation I think Teach found themselves last game, where if Sassy takes this natural base right out front on this high ground, he might be able to kind of deny these two bases outside from Teach. So, I don't know. It's rough. Like, if you're Teach, do you think the best move is to try to take one of these forward mills first and, like, really set yourself up there? Maybe even commit to, like, a balloon or two? I feel like if he plays the safer base, he might get zoned out from those thirds and fourths.
You know, the good news is that I feel like Teach's deck is very two base oriented.
Right.
The wolf will let you scale, sort of. I say. I don't think wolf buff chameleons are all that they used to be.
Right.
But you can get into the later stages, but you can also do a big push with wolf buff cams, or with Squizzard Cam, or Squizzard Cam Snake, or something like that.
Yeah, I definitely would like to see that out of Teach. I think that's the right approach, to just kind of play that two-base bruiser style. You can't be too afraid of the barbed wire. I mean, it is really cost-effective, kind of hard to deal with. But the chameleons are one of the units that actually can attack the wires, so maybe the move is to just get up to 4 to 6 chameleons and push out before all the tier 3 from Sassy really gets going.
Looks like Teach is going to try this game to open up much more economically, farming a little bit out of control, with the farms in front first as well, which is pretty interesting.
Yeah, now this is based on scouting information. Teach did see that Sassy had 2 farms on his expansion, so knows it's safe to get a little crazy here, so I like that a lot. I think that's really important to point out, especially for newer players, is, this kind of move can just kill you, but Teach did know Sassy was going for something similar, but it looks like Sassy, with like 1 extra Warren worth of squirrels here, is going to come in and punish.
Yeah, the problem was the squirrels were outside of the Warren, so they couldn't get any tanking HP, and Sassy just had 2 more squirrels or something like that, and so in a straight up fight, Blue's gonna take it.
Okay, Sassy moving in. No, they have the tempo here. They already knocked out a couple Warrens. They took a better fight earlier on, and I think what you mentioned earlier, putting these pigs on the front line like this was bad positioning. Having those Warrens up front wasn't ideal, but Sassy's going to take it home, and right now it's looking a little bit tough for Teach. Let's see if they can manage to stabilize.
I like the Warrens in front. I think if Teach actually used those Warrens and stood on top of them, then Teach could have held with a slight squirrel disadvantage.
Right. Yeah, it's risky because you do get that extra tanking HP, but losing the Warrens can often result in losing the game, so you got to have that fine balance. It's almost like tanking with an owl or a wolf or something. You want it to take some damage, but not actually die. Alright, so Sassy's going to pull back for now, just get ahead in the economy, put down the Skunk Warren, get the third base up and running, and I like this from Teach, as being really conservative here, getting up to a lot of Squizzard, and Squizzard can do pretty well against Squirrel Skunk.
Yeah, I wonder if Teach is just gonna feel like they're behind and just go for an all-out, all-in with Squizzard.
Yeah, it might be a pretty good move to make, and unfortunately this map doesn't have a lot of runaround paths for the lizards. I mean, I guess actually if you look in this bottom left, in the little forest in the creek here, you can get through there, just barely. But I don't know if we'll see that kind of thing out of Teach. You know, this is smart, honestly. And you know what? Sassy's being really greedy here, trying to get the third base up, getting up a lot of tier 3. There might be a window if Teach moves out right now, and he's going to go for it.
Teach with double the tier 1, but Skunk Gas is obviously going to play a big role.
Yeah, good target firing with the lizards, knocking out one of the skunks. One skunk remains. Oh, Teach's commander goes down, though. Still getting a little damage done in here, though. A couple of pigs go down.
Yeah, 2 pigs, the entire army, both of the skunks. It's going to supply block the owl.
Yeah, that is actually really huge. Let's see
if
Sassy...
180 food and a wolf right now.
Right. Sassy gonna come in for the scout and doesn't sell anything, but the owl will eventually become unblocked here. But Teach, you know, since he's on tier 1, he's already got the army rebuilt. Let's see if he tries to come in again. As he scouted to tier 3. Hasn't quite got deep enough in there yet to see it.
Yeah, I mean, now there's going to be 3 skunk, and there was only 2 skunk last time, so it feels like Sassy's going to be in an even stronger position this time. And then, if Teach can't do anything quickly, there's going to be, you know, a wolf and an owl out, and that's going to be curtains, I feel.
Yeah, that attack was well-timed and good, and it got some damage done, but not quite the damage that he needed. Like, you really needed to get in there, like, knock out that base, or at least kill more of the pigs or something. Now the wolf and the owl are here. One owl's not super threatening. And there's no units that really benefit from the wolf buff, you know, crazy.
Skunk Gas is
yeah,
insane, though.
That is true. Look how fast that Skunk Gas gets down. Dang.
Yeah, I feel like this game would have gone a lot smoother for Teach had the early game gone a little bit better.
Yeah. That was a really that was a really smart window from Sassy, though, to go in and realize, oh, hey, I just have a few more squirrels right now. I can move out and punish you a little bit. Alright, Sassy trying to be careful. Move in here. Let the mice do their thing. Now, Tooth and Tail is a crazy game. You know, I wouldn't count Teach down and out just yet, but it is looking pretty bad. He can, you know, figure out some crazy way to take a really good engagement. Or maybe Sassy doesn't quite play the lead correctly. Teach finally gonna... This is a good scouting path from Teach. Gonna be able to come in and see everything this time.
Teach has a good base trade composition, so...
Yep.
There's no real way to loop around on the map. Oh, this owl's getting value.
Yeah, the one thing about the owl is, you know, if you're on a bunch of tier 1 when it comes out, it's really brutal because those mice will trade so effectively. You know, sometimes if you got enough tier 2, like cams and skunks, you can kind of deal with the mice pretty cost effectively. Now we've got that triple tier 3 out from Sassy again. Still not hard committing to break in and knock the balloon, but Teach realized after scouting that third base they're too far behind and tapped it. So that'll be it for the first round. Sassy winning the match for old Clan Pboop here. And who do we got coming up next? Let me check. Gent asks if he can play next. Let me see. So I think it's supposed to be Snake and Draz next. But Gent is asking if he can play next. I know he's in yeah, you've already got Draz in here, so maybe we should just move on the way we're supposed to.
Yeah. That's what I'd suggest, unless Gent absolutely has to go, then we can...
Yeah, I agree. He is in France, so I'm not sure if it's, you know, a time thing, if he's got something going on tonight. So I'm trying to coordinate with that. Okay.
He's probably got to go to a cafe.
Eat a baguette, smoke a cigarette.
No, I want to go to a French cafe so bad. I guess they probably don't have them open right now.
Yeah, that would be cool. Have you ever gone to Europe or anything like that?
I've been to Africa. I've never been to
Really?
Europe.
Where in Africa did you go?
Ghana.
Oh, nice.
I went there for a conference. Had to give a presentation.
Oh, cool. Okay, so we're just going to move on as intended. We've got Snake versus Draz here. Snake, one of our beginning players for... hang on, sorry. Doing TO and casting a little bit, but Snake, one of our beginner players. Draz, Draz is not bad. I've played him on the ladder a few times. Another one of the StarCraft players. What's Draz's StarCraft race? What's his identity?
Draz is a Protoss player, and he only ever cannon rushes.
Oh no!
He doesn't practice. All he does is looks at the maps outside of the game, figures out how to cannon rush on them, and then he cannon rushes in tournaments.
That is amazing.
He only ladders.
Who is the nefarious cannon rusher guy? Why am I blanking on his name? He played Tooth and Tail actually.
Oh, Printf?
Printf, yeah. He used to play Tooth and Tail, and he used to do like fox, ferret, turret kind of stuff. So that's really cool.
Yeah, Draz is quite the StarCraft character because in StarCraft Clan Wars, you generally have to have a ladder rank so they know which opponents to put you up against. And so he plays the bare minimum number of ladder games with like the fastest cheeses in history.
Oh, nice.
And then he just goes out of control.
That's hilarious.
But I mean, he's pretty good at memeing.
So on the left-hand side, the cannon rusher Draz. Over on the right, we've got Snake, smiley face. All right, I'm surprised we haven't seen Draz try. Well, I guess it's not as good in Tooth and Tail, but you can like take a gristmill, start building some turrets, start getting that going.
Yeah,
it's like
I feel like Draz is going to message me angrily for saying that. I'm sorry for breaching OPSEC, Draz. I apologize.
Hopefully your opposition isn't watching and taking notes.
It seems unlikely.
So Draz is this really powerful deck. I think the style was kind of popularized by Tiki Gray. Getting into that like skunk, snake, owl late game. Balloon's normally a part of it. The wolf is kind of Draz's own little spin on it. And meanwhile, Snake's got more of that mid-range bruiser kind of 2-base deck. But honestly, just with the tier 2 like this, you can scale into the late game quite nicely. Stuff like Chameleons and Falcons will definitely get you there.
Yeah, so this is like the slow and steady deck that, it's like, if you wanted a slow and steady owl deck, this is it, because you have Skunk Snake to stay alive against everything, and then you have Wolf Owl to have your strong late game. And then you take Squirrel because you're not a maniac who plays Lizard.
I think it's a maniac to just run one, but I guess Toads aren't super popular. I do mention that a lot, and maybe it's just me saying things that are incorrect, but I do feel like you're vulnerable, if you just have one tier 1 in that slot. If the enemy's running Toads, you could definitely be in bad shape.
Yeah, my opinions do not necessarily reflect the views of the stream. I just want to clarify.
Oh no, not at all. I think you have some great opinions, man. Let's see. So far, nothing crazy going on just yet. Macroing up both sides. Yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see where this one goes. I think you're pretty happy with the spawn as Draz. 4 bases here. You can defend quite nicely with a couple of well-placed balloons. Get into that late game that you're looking for. And
yeah, Draz going into Skunk Squirrel already, and this map's a little bit tricky because there is a back path into the base, but having this high ground like nest of 3 mills is really nice because you don't need a lot to get into your owl wolf.
Yeah, that always surprises me too. You'd think that kind of late game comp you need a ton, but I mean, I've seen players like on 2 bases, you can get up to quite a few owls. It depends on the way the game goes. If there's like not a lot of engagements, you can really sink a ton of money into just building up more and more warrens. So let's see. I think what Snake needs to do this game is identify when the big tech switch to the owls is going to be, and maybe try to push in there. Wolf already coming down here.
If I had to give any player an edge in anything, I'd say that Snake has better building placement. It's much more aesthetically pleasing.
Just makes you feel good to look at it. All right, he does scout the Wolf Warren. So good scout.
Well, you see how one of Draz's Squirrel Warrens isn't tied up against the pigs? That makes me itch, honestly.
Is that triggering you?
A little bit.
All right, yeah, this is what I was just saying, so it's kind of cool to see it. So Snake did recognize the tier 3 and is going to try to push out now. Draz getting that owl, so if Draz can hold this push, I think he's in a great spot to win the game. But let's see, this is Snake's moment. Going to push in with the lizards kind of on top of all the tier 2. The Cam Skunk following behind.
The skunk gas from Draz is really good.
Yeah.
And the wolf got started, which is really nice because you don't want this push to come, cost you a bunch of units, and then block your production.
Right. So very nice defense there from Draz. I mean, lost a couple units. Actually pretty even trade. One Morin went down, but not the end of the world. And like you said, I mean, the tier 3 is still up and running, but Snake is not done just yet. Gonna move in up here from the top. Draz is not in position. This will definitely be a little bit of bacon.
3 pigs, it looks like.
Yeah, and then gets out of there. Nice moves.
I know exactly what Draz would say in this situation, which is thanks to the star farms.
gotta find the silver lining in situations. Okay, so Snake keeping the pressure on, but one of these owls is almost done. The wolf is already here. Gonna try to get this balloon, but no, Draz is in position. Gonna be pushed back.
Yeah, it's really nice for Draz getting a few lizards for free. Like, you want those trades always, but especially if you're getting into L, starting it off with a trade that's just positive, only positive for you, it's gotta feel good.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So, lots of chameleons coming out, which can bust through a single owl sometimes.
Right. Yeah, if you get up to like four skunk, a bunch of cams, you know, enough snakes, and then focus your micro with the snakes to try to hit the tier 3. I mean, it's not impossible, but I am always worried about this much tier 1. But like you said, it's just one owl so far. Once you get up to like 2 or 3 owls, the tier 1 is really gonna hurt you more than help. But
that mouse wave didn't kill anything, so that's nice for Snake. Snake has enough like burst and splash damage to make it happen for now.
So we've seen Wolf Owl in every single match today so far. not the biggest pool of matches just yet. Alright, here we go. Big engagement. Snake moving in. Most of the tier 1 have fallen, trying to push these cams forward. But again, so much skunk gas here. Poisoned down a couple of those skunks from Draz. And that time around...
Draz really patient with the micro there.
Yeah, that time around it went really, really good for Draz. Snake lost a lot more there.
And if you look at the economic situation, Draz is just miles ahead, which is really hard to deal with if you're not the owl player.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a really good point. If Snake had a better economy here, it might be one of those situations where you can just overwhelm the enemy with an army comp that's not quite as good against what you're facing, you know, but since Draz kind of has the superior comp, he's got the superior eco, I don't think these frontal attacks are going to work from Snake anymore. I think he's going to have to be clever, try to move in maybe with lizards, or maybe try to sell stuff off and hope Draz doesn't attack and get their own economy going. Like, I'm not sure. This almost looks like checkmate here for Draz. Snake's going to move in again, but yeah, just see there's no way they can handle that. Look at all these mice. Gonna start chewing down the red tier 1 here. Snake's still just trying to look and try to find a spot where Draz is a little bit out of position, but Draz is being really good with his army control here. And the balloons too, you know, they give you so much extra vision. You can really see when those kinds of flank attacks are coming in.
It makes Draz feel more comfortable to do these move outs, knowing that like there's nothing skirting around the other side.
Like, look at all that vision that Draz has now. And here we go. Snake's gonna try again, but with the inferior economy, I think after this attack, we'll probably see Snake tap here. Nice patient game from Draz, getting into that comp. I think Snake made a really good timing attack earlier on when he identified the tier 3. But Draz with a solid defense, you know, getting to where he wants to be in this game, and should be over here shortly. Or let's see.
Falcons get taken out by snake tags.
Let's see if Snake is one of those guys that fights to the bitter end.
Well, he's selling stuff, so it kind of looks like it.
Yeah. There it is.
There we go.
Nice, nice solid victory here for Draz in match number 1. Okay, and after this, everybody, don't go anywhere. We will be doing the Tooth and Tail Championship 2021 drawings. I got my hats ready to go. I've got an Ash Ketchum hat and a cowboy hat. Trumpet, what do you think?
What was the first one again?
An Ash Ketchum hat for Pokemon?
What was the other one?
A cowboy hat.
Oh, that's a tough call. I feel like you got to go with the Ash Ketchum hat.
Yeah. Well, I actually need 2 hats, so I'm going to be using both of them. But I agree that the Ash Ketchum is probably the better one. Okay, you're playing in the championship, aren't you? Aren't you in Premier League?
That is correct.
All right. Over in the bottom right side, we've got Snake changing it up this time around, going to grab their own owls, and up top, up one map in the series, we've got Draz taking the same deck. So I actually really like this this flex here from Snake. You know, the boar owl might be exactly what he needs to try to push through what Draz is doing.
Yeah, I think that this deck has a lot of potential. I think you can go into like Skunk Falcon as well. You don't necessarily have to go into your tier 3 to deal with an owl player.
Right.
But definitely helps.
Yeah, and Draz is this is an interesting map, right? Because Snake has like 3 bases right here, nice and tight. You know, you're never going to be unhappy about that. Now, Draz doesn't really have a nearby natural, but he's got 4 bases down here in the west. So he can kind of get set up there and really take it into the late game. But, you know, a lot of times I get a little bit too ahead of myself over analyzing maps because I think, as you mentioned earlier, but, you know, most games are really 2 or 3 bases, you know. A lot of times it doesn't go past that.
Honestly, Snake is probably wishing that he had the deck that they played last time, because a much more wide open map, multiple attack paths.
Right.
Squizzard would be a nightmare for Draz here to deal with.
Yeah.
Fortunately, he only has to deal with Snake's squirrels.
Expansion coming out here for Snake. Let's see what Draz decides to do. I wonder if Draz might do like a 1 base push, you know, not necessarily an all-in, but like a delayed expansion because it is so far away. And like you just mentioned, he probably thinks that Snake has the lizards, right? So expanding all the way down there could be pretty risky.
Yeah, sometimes when you have a mill that's further away, you just play sort of delayed, like you do everything on 1 mill first for a while. This is interesting.
All right.
The furthest away mill first.
Yep, trying to be sneaky, hoping that maybe Snake won't scout it, but Snake actually hasn't. Oh no, Snake burrows home before seeing it down there.
Draz has to be careful. Snake's up 3 squirrels here, or will be soon. But I think with Warren tanking and with the skunk on the way, he should be safe. I think Snake was mostly reacting to the timing of Draz's Warrens there.
Yeah, and Snake also might be misreading this because they haven't seen a second base out of Draz. You know, Snake scouted that first one, and like you were thinking, you know, probably all right. That's if Draz was going to expand, that's probably where it would be. You know, then comes home. So that's always one of the benefits when you have a little sneaky ninja base like this. You know, you can really be kind of selling your opponent some misinformation.
Snake is currently ahead on economy, but Draz's farms will kick in just a second. Now 2 do, so now he's up just a tiny bit.
Poor Snake, he has recognized that money is missing, right? And double checks the expansion, doesn't see anything. Just hasn't gone far enough down to find this money base down here from Draz, already at half saturation. So Snake's still being pretty diligent on the map, knowing that Draz is up to something and just trying to find out what it is.
I think one thing to note is that since Draz's base is so far away, and Snake doesn't have a fast unit like Lizards, if Snake were to attack the hidden base, and Draz were just to counterattack, Draz has a much shorter attack path.
Yeah.
So it feels like that could be in favor of Draz slightly.
Yeah, I agree. Like, if it became a base race scenario, it would be easier for Draz to finish that one out, unless Snake, like, took one of these mills. Oh my gosh, dude, Snake has been really trying to figure out what's going on. Look how much they've scouted and just barely hasn't seen that last base.
I like how this game has been pretty dynamic. Lots of stuff has happened, but then for a moment there, they were both like 1/4 on their third skunk at the exact same time with 12 squirrels. Like they both came to the exact same place somehow.
Oh, nice! My new mods in the chat are are doing a good job knocking out the bots. So glad I gave a lot of swords out on Friday night. I didn't even realize it. That's good. Okay, so full base set. Oh, is Snake finally gonna see it? Oh, Snake! Oh my gosh, Snake's gonna give me an ulcer, man. He's been so close every time.
This movement from Draz is interesting. I'm not sure what the point of the army being out here is.
Yeah.
Maybe he just wants to rotate down to defend the entire bottom of the map. It looks like that's what he wants to do, yeah.
Oh man, if Draz can get away with this, the way that he's trying to split the map here, that's going to put him in a phenomenal position. Yeah, without any ramp right where the army was, I was a bit skeptical of that, but these balloon placements are great as long as Snake doesn't find them right now as the army's out of position and just, you know, take care of them all. But the big balloon wall is coming down. Snake not super worried about it, trying to get into their tier 3 at the moment, but, you know, the way Draz is splitting this, so many mills in their favor.
This is interesting. I'm not sure how this is going to go. I feel like Draz built the balloons before he ecoed up, so he's defending, but it's going to be interesting to me because Snake is going to have the owl first.
Yeah. And plus, Snake could just go to the 12 o'clock, right? Go to the main base, knock out all the infrastructure, and just ignore these balloons.
Those warrens are kind of forfeit. I think with Skunk Snake, you can kind of poke at it. It's confusing because Snake's name is Snake. But
right.
Draz with his Skunk Snake can use his Skunk Snake to poke at Snake as Snake comes in with his Skunk Snake.
Right.
And then pull back towards the balloons, so you can kind of micro it that way. And Draz is actually selling stuff up there and rebuilding it down here, which is pretty smart.
Yeah, I think slowly over time, Draz is going to start taking all their assets away from that main base and just forfeiting it. Wants to be careful, you know, doesn't want to get caught with their pants down, you know, selling off all these warrens and then a big attack comes in. But Snake is being really, really defensive this game, you know, no attacks in sight. Is going to get up a little bit on the tier 3, and I think Snake's going to have to utilize this. Like, I think once the boar and the triple owl are out, Snake has just got to try to go in the game, because if it goes too much longer than that, you know, Draz with all this real estate here will absolutely just win the money game. But no, Snake's going to move up now, but Draz already sold everything up here, so nothing
Draz
really...
is going to want a balloon wall like mad right now to stay alive while he's buffing these units out.
Yeah.
Unless Snake just turns around. If Snake turns around, Draz will not have to be afraid of that at the moment.
Yeah, Snake should have attacked in from that 12 o'clock, like, counterclockwise down, you know? Still trying to avoid the balloons. But at the same time, these balloons aren't protected. I'd love to see Snake to just kind of snipe them right now. Does seem like they have the opportunity. Here we go. Gonna clean these up. Oh, actually only gets one. But all these mice from Snake, well, it seems to be a pretty comparable amount of mice here from Draz, so...
Yeah. It's a lot of dead balloons. 2 balloons is a lot of food.
Yeah.
Now, technically, at the moment, if Draz buffs both his owls, he has 1 extra owl compared to Snake.
Right.
So that would be why he had a slight mice lead.
Yeah, and I think the bigger picture here is going to be that eco. I mean, Draz is winning on that third base. All right, Snake going to push in. If they can knock out this balloon, they're really not under much balloon fire. Kind of coming up here on the southern flank, moving in with the boar, really helping to crush the opponent's mice. If he can get this base, that really helps Snake's chances in this game. It looks like the base will fall down to the flamethrower and the poison, and is Snake just going to go home from there, or going to test their luck and try to go for a killing blow?
This 1 owl is going to go down to Snake tags. Oh, Draz is going to lose 1 owl, maybe 2. I don't know if this one took any damage.
Ooh.
So if Draz hadn't lost an owl there, I would have thought this is really solid for Draz, but they both lose an owl, so...
Yeah, one owl going down for both sides. Snake managing to keep the boar alive, I think, was really important. And obviously, the most important thing was killing that fully saturated base. So, you know, if Snake doesn't wait too long, maybe gets that owl up again and pushes in, could be difficult for Draz. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean, at this exact moment, Draz should have about twice as many mice as Snake, but that's not going to last for very long.
All right. Ooh, Snake going up to 5 owls. I don't know if that's the right play if you're thinking about being more aggressive. You know, maybe you should just chug out some quick... Well, I wouldn't even really want squirrels, I guess, against all the mice. Like, I'm not sure. Well, maybe making some quick squirrels to help, you know, supplement the attack does make sense when you have the boar, right?
Honestly, if anyone should be aggressive, I think it's Draz, because once 5 owls are out with the boar and skunk snake, it just feels like when you're behind economically, there's not much you can do.
Yeah, the clock is ticking here for Draz. I mean, losing that base was basically the fatal blow here. So Draz does have... I think that's a good point. You know, Draz still has a standing army. Trying to catch up in the economic game might not work, but maybe you can push in and take a really good engagement or something.
Yeah, he needs to get, like, lucky snake tags. Like, hopefully the mice and the skunks clear each other out.
Yeah.
And then you get snake tags on tier 3s, and then you back up and reset over and over again. Because otherwise, I don't necessarily know what the path forward is. Draz is building more snakes. Maybe he's also thinking that.
All right, Snake getting up to some owls. It is really confusing when the player is named after a unit. All right, here we go. Another attack coming in. Snake should have the mice lead. It's still going to be patient. I don't know if Snake should really wait for the boar. Boar number 2, you know? Do you kind of move in while you got the tempo here? Pushing forward. Slowly but surely. Draz actually has been doing a good job getting back into the economic game. Not a lot of farms behind at the moment.
That's an owl down for Draz. That's huge for Snake. Really good pickoff for Snake.
Yeah,
it's another owl. Yeah, it looks like Snake's just going to burst right through.
Yeah, well, alright. Well, we're going to get to the decider match, at least, which is pretty hype. So this round will go to that third game, as Snake should be finishing up here shortly. But no, Draz is not giving up just yet. Still has a snake or two around to try to get some tags. Snake is going to go home, but took a very dominating victory there. Needs to sell off a couple Warrens.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically Draz has Wolf Owl, so there's technically a path forward, but it's not incredibly realistic.
Yeah, no owls on the field right now for Draz. Draz is just going to go for the base race. Now, Snake does have a mill down here. So I think this is smart. Snake needs to just go, though. They don't want... So Draz... Oh, but Draz doesn't have the money to take another mill. Okay, he does now.
Yeah, I think Snake just wins the base trade here. Both mills are already under fire, so I think Snake's got it.
Smart call by Draz, though, to go for that. For sure. But that is going to be it. Tying up the series 1-1. The back of a long macro game. Got a victory here for Snake. Neither player messing around at all. Hopping right into it. Let's see what the moves are going to be. Any radical deck changes? No, it looks like Draz is going to take the same deck. Snake following suit, I believe. Both players really liking this Snake Owl skunk style in the late game with kind of their own tier 3 of choice.
Yeah, it's really solid, as long as it kind of comes down to how can you carve up the map. Did you die to something early on? Oh, this is interesting. Everybody said there's maniacs who take lizard. And no squirrels.
On the right-hand side, representing FXB, we've got... Or representing PXB, we've got Snake. And in the bottom left, representing FXB, we've got Draz. See, the funny thing is... I made PXB to just kind of poke fun at you, Trumpet. And then it kind of, talking to Kipo, it kind of like spawned the idea for the Clan Wars. So it's pretty fun. I think this has been a cool event, man. I've been having a lot of fun with it.
Yeah, it's super fun to see just
some sort of team competition. I like the idea of teams getting together and working on strategy and stuff. It's fun.
Yeah, we've had a lot of one thing that I'm really proud of in the Tooth and Tail event organizers is, you know, we always have crazy events going on. I mean, obviously all the different gentlemen tournaments that are more kind of like board games that we play Tooth and Tail instead of like roll dice with. I mean, you know, 2v2 tournaments, random deck tournaments, custom map tournaments, like all kinds of crazy stuff. But I don't think we've ever really had like a clan war like this. We did a team tournament a long time ago. I want to say in like early 2018, maybe mid 2018, where it was a beginner and experienced event. So you had small teams. I think there were like 4 people, where you had some beginners and some pro players, you know, and kind of coach them through the games, and you'd have 2v2s in there and stuff as well. But other than that, this is the first time we've had like a clan style event, and I think it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think there's been it's a funny community. It's been really fun to listen to like people's takes on the matches, and also the out of game banter's pretty enjoyable.
All right, so in this game so far, looks like another macro opening from both sides, getting those second bases up and running. A little bit of a weird map, but I like it better for Snake. You know, he's got this big kind of landmass up here with the 4 gristmills on it now. Draz can try to move over to the 9 o'clock, secure those bases, or, you know, Draz has got 3 bases right here, and again, a lot of times that's all you need. So
yeah, Draz needs to be really careful with Snake playing Lizard, because there's 2 attack paths, and the only thing that is nice for Draz about this versus the Lizard player is that there's that campfire kind of zoning out the middle, but that won't last for very long. If Snake wants to get aggressive with the Lizards, of course, there's no issue with just chilling with Lizards as well.
Yeah, and I actually kind of don't mind the Lizards in the tier 1 slot for Snake here. Actually, I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, it doesn't seem like Draz is really going for any kind of aggressive, you know, toad-based plays. You haven't seen him really using things like barbed wire. So I don't think the Lizards from Snake will be punished. Another situation where you'll feel bad about having Lizards and not Squirrels, if you're under a lot of pressure in the early game, you know, Lizards can, or the Squirrels can defend a little bit better than Lizards do. But having a Lizards here is nice because you've got that late game tech switch. You know, you go into Mass Lizards, try to base race, and do things like that. Or do you have any? Why are you so anti single Lizard?
I mean, you can win the game with Lizards. That's true.
Yeah. Oh wow.
You can also be a maniac. I don't know what to say.
All right, here we go. The tier 3 already coming down for both sides. This is an important scout for Snake. Will he see the tier 3 warrens of the opponent? He does. Meanwhile, Draz has not seen them from Snake just yet, but Snake will kind of feel alright about seeing those tier 3 warrens. They've already got theirs underway. Really quick full saturation on second bases from both sides. So yeah, I mean, these players just really like to get in the late game. You know, no kind of early game pressure at all. And here's those Lizards coming in, gonna look for a little bit of damage here.
Draz is in position though. He shouldn't take any damage to this.
Yeah, he might lose a Warren, but ooh, doesn't even get the Warren. Definitely good positioning for Draz's units. I like how he hasn't rallied them at all, so they're all kind of like spread out, you know, covering different areas here.
Honestly, I think that Draz not scouting the board instantly was kind of good for him, because he just went into his normal Owl Wolf instead of maybe panicking a little bit, going Snake Balloon. And he's going to end up having Snakes and the Owl Wolf as well. So
yeah, I think the comp coming out from Draz is looking good. If you can get a lot of Snake tags on the board, we don't see any pigeons here for Snake to try to counteract that poison. So you get a couple rounds of 4 snakes worth of poison on a board, and it will go down. Third base underway for Draz here, but is Snake going to move out with this army right here, right now? It looks like he is. I think he will for sure deny this third, but not the biggest loss in the world. I mean, 180 food definitely feels bad. Smart pullback from Snake too. Not gonna full commit and risk the whole match on that one fight.
Snake will be up 1 farm right now just because it's campfire.
Yeah, got the campfire going, got the third base going. And I wonder if we'll see Draz try to take this 9 o'clock. I mean, Snake does have the lizards, but you can still be out of position with your commander if you go to try to punish something like that. Let's see, Draz does need a third base, so I'm curious if he's going to go for that 9 o'clock or if he's going to try to retake this one right here, maybe defend it a little bit better with some balloons, with army positioning.
Draz actually goes up to 8 snakes, which is intense.
Yeah,
8 wolf buff snakes can get so many tags down instantly.
Yeah, this is a nice comp from Draz, and the 4 skunks gonna help you deal with those mice. Of course, you've got your own mice as well.
His squirrel army basically entirely, and when Snake was there, he rebought them to make it look like he was doing some, like, sell to get more owls out shenanigans.
Oh, right, yeah. Okay, so Draz
to the right a little bit, kind of nice.
Draz is going to move up here, try to take this third base, but Snake is going to contest. Kind of no harm, no foul in that fight there. Actually, a couple of snakes dying.
Scary fight, but nothing died.
I think a couple snakes went down for Draz, but not a lot.
Yeah, there's so many.
Yeah, alright.
They're basically mice at this point.
Alright, we'll get that campfire. It does help. Gonna push in. Oh, Draz is getting a little bit cocky here, moving up to the main, but no, gonna decide against it, losing a skunk there. And this is looking good for Snake. I think that third base denial, honestly, the Snake did earlier had a bigger impact on this game than I initially thought.
If Draz can position himself and clear a mouse wave, he might be able to snake tag this down, though.
Yeah, gonna need some good target fire in here. Really, he's trying to get that third base, and he does have so many snakes with the wolf. I mean, if he can get those snakes in position to just shoot that mill like one time, he'll get it. But no, he's gonna come in to the underbelly of the main base, pick off a couple pigs. Oh, this is intense. Both players on similar economies now. Oh, getting this base is huge. Is that gonna be enough tags? Oh, it's close.
Yeah, with that extra mouse damage, I think
it was very good. That one mouse saving the day.
Draz just danced around and cleared mouse waves until he got an opening. Pretty intelligent play.
Oh, Snake is starving. Draz is not far behind. Is Snake just going to go for it here? Draz's army is starting to move a little bit north. It's going to be hard for Draz to retreat. If Snake can start picking off some of these back units here. Oh, but Draz is just going to go for the mills. Draz does not think that they can take the fight, so they're just going to try to tag down the mills. Oh my gosh. Oh, is he going to get it?
The snake goes down, so it's just mice. Snake has enough money to buy something, but will he have enough time? Yeah, he will.
Oh yeah, the campfire there really helps.
So I think Snake's got this one.
Yeah, really close match. Some interesting decision making there from the end, but you know what? If Snake is not careful, these owls will respawn some mice. Yeah, he needs to just come in here, clean up those mice, and Draz is gonna starve out. So Snake denying that third base, and maybe Draz not with the best decision making there at the end with the army. I'm not too sure, but it was close. You know, it was a good call, but like you said, all those snakes going down didn't quite have enough to kill that last mill. That was a really exciting series, though.
Yep, close one.
All right, I'm feeling good. Maybe Clan Pboop will not go 0-5 or whatever in the series. Let's see. Who do we got coming up next? Let's see.
Should be Lego Man versus Virtually Korean.
All right. So tell us about Virtually Korean.
Virtually Korean is a Zerg
StarCraft
player.
My man.
Started playing, of all the people that we've recruited to the Tooth and Tail side, probably the fastest learner. I mean, it's tough to say because Bomb also became a high-level player really fast, but Dom doesn't play anymore. So those two both learned really fast. VK's been playing a lot lately, though, like the past 2 or 3 months getting into the game. Is already in Premier League, actually.
Nice.
Has like 800 points on ladder. Takes out some big names here or there.
Very cool. All right, man after my own heart. I am a Zerg player myself. Awful Owl player. Wait, Epicosity.
Maybe who's Awful Owl player? I assume that's VK.
I think so. I just tagged Lego Man. Let's see if he's coming here. So thanks everybody for tuning in. We got great viewership. Thanks Trumpet for casting with you. Actually, I'm having a great time casting with you, man. I think we got some good synergy here. I'd love to do it again sometime.
Yeah, for sure. I'm down.
All right. So here we go. This round right here going to determine if Pboop wins the day or if FXB starts the comeback.
I love this deck from VK. It's a classic FXB deck.
All right, here we go.
From the furnaces. You know how like orcs are like grown or whatever, and like.
Oh yeah. Like Lord of the Rings rolls.
Yeah.
All right, spawning on the bottom left. Awful Owl player, aka Virtually Korean, and a Zerg player in StarCraft. Bit happy about that. Over on the right hand side, we've got Lego Man 96 representing Clan Pboop. So tell me about this deck that was born in the fires, deep in the mountains.
Well, in a time where tier 2 decks were the rage, and nobody played Squizzard, this was crafted to defeat them, and it's powerful. You know, Squizzard Cam is a viable composition basically all the way to 3 mil.
Yeah.
And then you can push like an incredibly hard to deal with all in with the Boar and Lizard and Chameleons. And it's pretty high. It's good at dealing with splash damage. It's got a really strong timing, and I think a lot of people struggle with finding ways to kill their opponent in Tooth and Tail.
Right.
Look at the stance.
Yeah, that is cool, and I've had a lot of success historically with Squizzard as well, especially against Tier 2. I mean, it's good against most Tier 2, right? The only Tier 2 that can give it a hard time is Chameleons, and lately, well, I don't want to say lately anymore, but more in recent Tooth and Tail history, the double skunk, very powerful against Squizzard or just Tier 1 in general, because once you got 4 skunks out, you know, so much gas everywhere, so much HP to try to chew through.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about this deck, though, is that unlike most decks with Squizzard Chameleon, I feel like it doesn't require you to commit to an all-in sub-16 farms.
Yeah.
Kind of play it out.
Yeah, and the
There's
snakes will
lots of
help.
other ways to do it, but this is a nice way to do it. Pretty
Right.
solid, reasonable.
Like, the Squizzard is really good early on against, like, fast Tier 2 builds, and then I like the snake to help round out, you know, once they just start getting too much Tier 2. For the Squizzard to handle. So another macro game that we're seeing here. Keep in mind, if you are a new player and you try to do this sort of thing on the ladder and just get beat down, the macroing is based on scouting information. So both sides are seeing, hey, it's almost like the stock exchange. not trying to bring up current events or anything, but you know, it's like, oh, I see my opponent's being greedy. I'm going to be just a little bit more greedy, you know, and then you're just kind of to the moon with your economies before you know it.
Yeah, the thing about dealing with aggression, dealing with greediness in Tooth and Tail is a lot of the time it feels like you can't really do anything unless you were already planning on it. It's really hard to switch into something.
Right.
There's a couple ways to do it, but you kind of have to already start building into something that has aggressive potential.
Yeah.
And then scout greed, and then you can punish.
Right.
That becomes less of an issue as the game goes on, and you have enough money to throw down like 10 Lizard Warrens and meme out of control.
Exactly.
Like,
or in the previous patch, I think you could punish aggression a little bit better with the moles. You know, you could really try to abuse the timing. But I think most players agree with the changes. You know, the moles probably got a little over nerfed, but I think everybody was kind of tired of playing against them every game. You know. It's nice, kind of refreshing to change it up a little bit.
I wonder if VK is going to try to bust through right now.
He's got a decent bustin' army here, especially once he gets the 4 cams out. But the snakes from Lego Man's kind of key unit is the snake. I think it's his favorite unit in the game. He's pretty good with it. And we saw Necromanticer last week kind of take that information and really beat the crap out of Lego Man, because he just went mass lizards like every game, which, you know, snakes are horrible against tier 1. Ooh, doesn't quite get that snake through the wire in time. Nice pick up there for Owl.
VK takes down, let's see. I feel like that trade wasn't bad for VK at all. A lot of tier 1 for a couple tier 2s.
Yeah. Yeah, getting that snake before he got through the wire, I think, was really huge.
I think VK might have missed a little bit of an opportunity to push through. Takes out another snake. Nice.
Okay, 4th base coming up from Lego. That's more of a base for territory than anything else, trying to get some more wire out. Owl on the way here. Boar on the way as well for for virtually Korean. VK. I like VK. It's a good name. We'll call him VK.
Yeah, he likes to change his name to things that might give him a psychological advantage.
Right. Yeah, you say you're awful owl player, then you're actually a good owl player, or don't even use owls at all.
Don't play owl at all.
Yeah. All right, another attack here. VK kind of baited Lego Man out of the wire. Takes a good engagement, gonna push in. These snakes, though, do pretty nicely against the cams. Gonna knock out all the cams. And it looks like Lego will hold.
Like an overextension from VK, honestly.
Yeah, he smelled blood in the water. He really wanted to kill that mill. And now he's getting punished for it. Let's see if he can re-rally enough to save his own 3rd here.
Yeah, I always say with this deck, you never want to chase. Like, even if it looks like you can chase, you should just not chase. Like, you get the good engagement when you have the big swarm and the flanks and the chameleons up front. You can't just chase and get kited into oblivion like you just did.
Right. Lego Man keeping this constant pressure on. He's got the barbed wire to retreat to. Does deny that 3rd base. And in the meantime, Lego Man's economy is pretty strong at the moment. The boar was sold off by VK, just can't afford it at the moment. And, man, this was going really great for VK. And like you said, I think he just kind of overextended there. And maybe that might have thrown the whole match. Lego Man getting in position for a kill.
There's 6 skunk. Way too much skunk gas to push through anymore. Skunks with snakes just finishing off everything.
Yeah, VK's gonna hold on for now. But once you get up to this amount of skunk, man, tier 1 is just not, it's just kind of obsolete. And especially with the owl here, that's gonna be a tap from VK. Again, I think he played really well, but that one overextension and Lego Man really capitalized on that and sealed the deal.
I wonder if VK will think that he had an opportunity there with that deck, and so he'll run it again. Or if he'll go for something different. Yeah.
Here we go. Now, Lego Man, I think, is a little bit of a one-trick pony. I think he's got... Yeah, he's one of the guys that kind of practices a specific deck. So maybe VK can kind of download it and adjust here and try to beat it. In the bottom left, up 1 map, we've got Lego Man representing Pboop. Up top, representing FXB, we've got VK.
It's a pretty nice map for VK, I think, having a mill on the high ground and then the 3rd mill right next to it. It's pretty reasonable. It's not terrible for Lego Man either. Lego Man might be a little paranoid because if he were playing against a lizard player, this would be more challenging.
Yeah. Yeah, I like this a little better for VK. I think the 4th base is going to be a lot easier to grab for VK. If you look closely at the minimap there's actually no way to get into this 4th besides through the 3rd. Meanwhile, Lego Man, you know, these 3 bases, there's a little bit of awkward ramping, but it's fine. You can't really complain too much about it. But I think the 4th, like this one up here and the 10 o'clock, you know, if we get in the late game, it might be hard to establish that one.
And he does have the balloons to carve up the map if he so desires.
Right.
It looked like VK was looking for someone to dance with, but Lego Man was nowhere to be seen.
No dance party. Okay, so yeah, this late game. I mean, Wolf with the snake in the late game is pretty nuts. I like Lego Man's late game too, though. The Falcons can always scale really nicely, but I mean, I guess you'd have to give the late game advantage to VK, right? It's tough to call. Both comps seem
I'm just
fine.
enjoying VK hunting around the map for Lego Man, trying to find Lego Man to dance with. But Lego Man is always out of position. And now it's too late. You gotta actually, recall on time and do your build.
Quick tier 2 coming down from both sides. I think that's really good for this map. The map is nice and big enough. You can easily get into that. Lego Man going for the trademark snakes. VK for the skunks. I tend to think the skunks are the safer option in this early game. If you get attacked in by a lot of tier 1, obviously you're going to be happy to have the skunks, but the snake is like the move to deal with other tier 2, so I think that makes sense as well.
But VK needs to be careful not to skimp on squirrels against the snake player.
Right.
If you don't have enough squirrels and he comes in and pokes at your skunks and then you lose your skunks and then you have nothing, then it's a disaster.
Ooh, Lego Man being very greedy here. Look, that is like max greed possible. Double tier 2, sold the tier 1, really kind of taking a gamble here that VK will not be attacking him anytime soon. And VK doing more of like a reasonable opening. I think the balloon is a little bit too conservative, perhaps. I think he'll sell the balloon once he comes in and sees Lego Man just... No way Lego Man's attacking you anytime soon. Yeah, he gets a full scout there. Really nice scout.
Now, the one thing is VK probably thought this could be a snake push, so...
Right.
Okay with that.
Yeah, that's a good point. Actually, that actually really justifies the tier 1 in the balloon. That makes a lot of sense. So, really, really good adjustment here from VK after that last scouting path. Getting rid of the balloon. Getting into some tier 3 even. Will Lego Man see the tier 3?
In some situations, I kind of like the idea of just going into Owl because you can't really afford double tier 3.
Right.
This one I might be tempted to do it because there's so much tier 2 coming up from Lego Man right now. And this is going to be hard for VK, I think, to deal with because there's Snake Skunk coming at it really fast and he only has 6 squirrels.
Oh, Lego Man is looking a little froggy here. That's one dead pig so far. Now, if VK can punish this and knock out a tier 2, oh man, the snake poison. Ooh, Lego Man bobbing and weaving well so far. All the tier 2 lives for Lego Man here.
Yeah, like I said, I feel like you have to always be afraid of things like this against someone who plays a snake. You get a snake there, that's really nice. These pigs aren't incredibly important anymore, so
right.
If you can hold, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, especially that one that just died, because judging from the amount of wheat left on that farm, I think it was one of the 5-minute pigs that's about to farm out anyways here soon. But if VK can hold, they did kind of panic sell that wolf earlier on and are rebuilding it.
I know it seems scary to have your skunks in front against a snake player, but I still think you need to just get some skunk guys on. There's so many squirrels coming in, 21 squirrels.
Yeah, Lego Man just really kind of going all in here, just dedicating that big economy into building a ton of tier 1 and trying to push in for the kill. Wolf Warren either got knocked out or sold here. Oh, it's so close. Can VK hold on? It looks like all the overwhelming squirrels will do it. And yeah, I think the Wolf Warren there was the mistake. If he built his own counter squirrels, maybe he could have held that a little bit better. But still alive, but...
This is just a classic case of trying to get creative with the cells and stay ahead economically and then just getting caught out by someone who built the units and then pushed across the map.
Right. And building these, like, I think Lego Man sold a couple of the Warrens now, but these are like proxy Warrens, you know? Like, he built these as close to the enemy as possible, really to hit that timing.
This is I'm dead, I want to see what I'm dealing with scout.
Yeah.
VK. I mean, it's a lot of squirrels against skunks, so technically, if Lego Man just sits in the skunk ass and
loses everything. There's the path, but we'll see. Those snake tags are actually pretty good for VK.
Yeah, they are. VK's gonna fight to the last breath here. This attack gets held a little bit better. Those snake tags right at the start of it made a big difference. Couple skunks still alive though, and I think Lego Man will just start brute forcing through and, you know, killing the Warrens last time around. So nice victory there for Lego. But we've still got one more match to do, and then after that, we will go into the drawings for the TNT Championship 2021. That's going to be a lot of fun. Classic Delthius hat drawing with the cam and everything. So I'm happy. You know, I don't want to over celebrate here, but it's good. We haven't won a single match yet in the event, so I'm pretty happy we at least put
congratulations.
One point on the board. Thanks, man. All right, but this last one will be good. The gentleman versus Epicosity. You know, Epicosity has always been a fairly strong player, but I feel like lately he's gotten really damn good.
Yeah, Epi's good. Epi can definitely take this if things go his way. Gentleman's favorite, of course. One of the top 2 or 3 Tooth and Tail players for sure. No question. Lots of people would put him at number 1.
Yeah, Gents, Airloo. Historically, I think you'd have to give it to Chip from Space. Maybe Dead Bones. I know he was really big in the Alpha.
If you're going for the full history, there's a couple of names in there for sure.
DJ Soak. He was. I think Draz would actually like DJ Soak a lot. He was the true Chad cannon rusher in Tooth and Tail because the old moles were really powerful. They were. It was one 60-food mole that was just, you know, strong as hell. And he was like the big cheeser that would win even big tournament matches with that. Gent is eating. No! Gentlemen!
At the cafe. I knew it.
Alright, I'm Googling best Parisian, how do you say it? Best Parisian cafe. 15 of the best traditional Paris cafes. Café de la Paix. I have no idea. No idea how to say that. Pay? Café de la Paix? Pie?
All right, we are going to take a 5-minute break. Gentleman trying to wrap up eating his dinner. So don't go anywhere, anybody. We'll just do a quick 5. And we will be back. So, like I said, again, really appreciate the great viewership. Trumpet, you've been awesome to cast with. I really want to do it again.
Thanks.
And after this, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. We're going to let Gentleman finish up eating his food. It is really late over there in the Europlan. And then after that, we'll have Kipo and Marmu on to do the drawing and talk about TNT Championship. So don't go anywhere, anybody. 5-minute break. We'll be back here shortly. We are back at it. I told Gentleman I was ready, but I think he took that as ready to launch the game. Trumpet, I had you muted. Are you back?
I'm back.
Sweet. All right, perfect timing. So we hop right into it here. Up on the top left, we've got the Gentleman, and up in the bottom, we've got Epicasi. Ooh, all right. I mean, obviously I'm rooting for the Gent, but I'm kind of my heart's rooting for Epicasi here with the Ferret Balloon.
Yeah, I like it. Ferret Balloon seems reasonable. Squizzard seems reasonable. Squeezer Cam seems reasonable. At this point, I'd just take a boar instead of the skunk, but
yeah,
I like it. It'll work. It could work out.
Yeah, and Gentleman's not really hyper committing to the late game. You know, he does have the owl. Interesting to see the mine pick. The mines have kind of been slept on a little bit since the stealth reveal was introduced into the game, but honestly, I feel like it might be a little bit overvalued. I mean, a lot of times people aren't, you know, really stopping for that full second to reveal in the tiles adjacent to the commander. And plus, I always historically like to say that, you know, the strongest mines of the game are often the first ones, you know, when your opponent's not expecting them.
Yeah, it's still a pretty popular structure at a high level. A lot of people use it kind of just to throw down whenever they feel in danger, just spam them in front of mills that are defensible.
Okay, and I actually really like the mine paired with ferrets as well. I mean, traditionally, you know, the turrets or the balloons do make more sense, but it can be fun to, like, bait your opponent with the ferrets into a minefield or something. So, Gentlemen, going for a really big eco opening, and you know what? Maybe Epicosity might be thinking about a one-base punish to this. No expansion just yet. The ferret's on the way. Let's see, is it going to expand, or is it just going to rail down the tier 1 and go for an attack?
You know, when I saw this map, I thought, this is not a ferret map, so Epicosity will do something else. But Epicosity is going for this anyway, which to me is pretty funny that Gent has been incredibly greedy. Gent might feel safe with the mine lizard though, like a good mine hit and then lizard swarm can clean this up. He's counterattacking though right now.
Yeah, this counterattack. Oh, but there's not an attack. Well, you can kind of... Oh my gosh, there is a little way you can go through the water over there, but Gent did not find it. Gonna have to come home. That counterattack could have totally been brutal, but the topography
this might actually
of the
be
map...
really good for Epicosity. Epicosity has the ferrets for extra firepower and for tanking. So I don't know if the lizards will win this outright. I guess if the ferrets miss every shot and don't do any tanking.
Right. Two pigs going down though, and a third one
the
about...
reinforcements from Gent are going to be just push this back for sure.
Yeah, the squirrels are really slow getting over here. But let's see how much damage the ferrets can get done. Another Warren going to be falling here soon. No, the ferrets starting to attack the lizards, and yeah, Gentlemen with all the lizard Warrens, they're pretty easily able to produce enough to shut this down.
Yeah, I think it's counterintuitive, but I think what Epicosity needed was to tank with the first two ferrets.
Right.
And if he cleared the lizard wave and kept all his tier 1 alive, he would have had enough to push through, I think.
Yeah, and I think this map, I mean, just how far and kind of wonky the rush distance is really played against Epicosity here. I think if Epicosity would have went for cams first and just like pure lizard, he might have just broke through and won the game.
Yeah, I definitely think this map was really in favor of Gent for defending a ferret push like that.
Alright, Gent just going to mass produce some extra economy here. Yeah, and unfortunately these ferrets just really not what the doctor ordered for this map. Epicosity realized that the all-in didn't work, taps out. Nice quick match number 1. We're going to head into game 2. Let's see if Epicosity can bring it back. I liked what he was going for there, but again, I don't think he read the map quite correctly. If he would have went Lizard Cam, I think he would have just won. And here's that triple tier 3 Wolf Fox with Owl deck. Let's see what Gentleman's going to go for this time.
This is Gentleman's core deck. I've seen it a few times.
Yeah, spawning on the left-hand side, we've got the Gentleman. Over on the right, Epicosity. Now, finally we see some toads. First time of the day. And let's see if the toads really punish that single tier 1 from Epicosity, or if it doesn't matter as much as I've been trying to say it does. Now the Fox here for Epicasi could actually just annihilate Gentleman's whole deck.
Yeah, having the Fox is nice. I also think that Skunk here is nice because Gent might be looking to do some sort of Squirrel Cam or Squirrel Toad Cam or something early on. The map's pretty big, so maybe that won't happen, but having Skunk is nice. Skunk Barbed Wire can kind of hold that pretty well.
Yeah, definitely.
A lot of people play this deck. Like, we saw Sassy play it with the Wolf Owl first and then a Fox later on. Yeah. I think you go to like 11 farms and build a Fox, that can be really strong, especially with people playing decks like Gents with tier 2s and 4s and things like that.
Yeah, a quick Fox out of Epicasi could straight up win the game. And the only thing Gentleman's really got against the Fox here is setting up a cam trap, or a cam ambush as we like to call it. And if you're not familiar with that in the chat, basically that's where you have like 4 cams and you kind of set them out on the map where you think the Fox is going to path through, and the cams just come out and one-shot the Fox.
The other thing that Gent has, it's kind of not a built into the game thing, is that he always farms ahead of his opponent. I mean, he does play aggressive sometimes, but he's really good at keeping an economic lead. You see he sells a Warren there and then buys farms while Epicasi is building a Warren.
Right.
And if you're playing Fox and your opponent just has a huge economic lead, usually you can't really get anything done with the Fox because you have to kill so many tier 1 with a single Fox.
I call it the Zap Brannigan approach. You know, you just throw lives at the enemy, just with blatant disregard for mortality until the job gets done. I mean, that is definitely, and that's an old school way actually. So when Tooth and Tail kind of came out, my little claim to fame competitively was I kind of pioneered a really strong build order to get out of Fast Fox, and I did pretty well with that. But what ended up happening was exactly what you're talking about. Like, people started realizing, hey, I don't want to try to break that one base because, you know, it's not going to happen. He's going to get the Fox out. So instead, I'm just going to get a huge economy, and by the time the Fox hits me, I've got like 30 squirrels, and, you know, eventually the squirrels will win at some point. Here's the Fox out of Epicasi.
This is spicy. Both players going for their tier 3 at the exact same time.
And this, honestly, this really favors Epi here. Like, Gent did get a slight economic advantage, but Epicasi, you know, with some really good scouting, followed suit. So really, it's a no harm, no foul situation. Both players hitting that full base saturation at relatively the same time. Now the question is, who gets the scout? So Gentleman does see the Foxes on the way. Epicasi did not see the boar. And Gent is not going to be happy about seeing a Fox. Yeah, he even sells off the boar. And is he going to go for the cam trap? Or maybe just a ton of tier 1? Yeah, see, he's going to really, really saturate up. And I think he's going to do what you were mentioning earlier. Like, just build a ton of squirrels? Or, yeah, going to get the cams to set up that cam trap. And then I think from here he just rails out squirrels with the economy.
Yeah, this is tricky. I mean, I like it for Epicosity. I think if Epicosity just takes the 3rd mill and goes into Wolf Owl, that could be nice. He's going to be really far behind economically if he doesn't figure out what's happening quickly.
Yeah, that big investment into barbed wire was not the right move. Now, that was a nice base that Gentleman decided to take. Epicasi not going to scout it. So might be reading this wrong. Oh, it doesn't quite go down there to check that out. But barbed wire is so cheap. I mean, it's only 170 food. It's really not that bad.
But the Gent's up a whole 8 farms. It's kind of insane.
Yeah, and Epicasi doesn't know about that, which is the problem. So here's that owl.
At the end of the day, the Fox can get insane value throughout the game, but it's got to do a lot to make up this economic difference, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, and the way that I try to think about it, too, is, I mean, that Fox has got to kill 18 squirrels to justify its existence, you know, at least money-wise. Because I do count the Tier 3 Warren as well as part of the cost of the Fox.
The other opportunity, I think Epicosity knows that there's Chameleons, so a lot of Tier 2 Warrens and not a lot of Tier 2.
Yeah.
But, which is why he's probably not pushing out with the Fox.
Yep. And there's that,
the question
that cam
is,
trap.
Can Gent overwhelm this magnitude of owls? He's getting... It feels like the mice waves might not be strong enough on 2 base against the economic lead that Gent has gone for.
Yeah, the problem here for Epicosity is he thinks it's 2 base versus 2 base. And since Gent does have that fully saturated third, he's even got a 4th on the way. And again, you know, on 2 base when there's no engagements, you know, we haven't been trading armies, we've been putting all our food into Warrens. You can get out like an absurd amount of tier 3. As we see, Epicosity's already pretty much bought and paid for 4 here. But, you know, the barbed wire was a little bit of a misread. But I'm rooting for Epicosity, man. I want to see this Fox style work. I want to see us go to a game 3. So let's see if he can figure this out. But I think the big story of this game is just never scouting that third base.
Clears the campfire.
Is Epicosity going to move out? You know, this is a high-value army here. Lots of toads. Well, not a lot of toads, I guess. Only 6 toads from Gent. Ooh, if those cams get caught by, you know, some mice revealing them, yeah, Gent's not going to take the chance. And here we go. Epicosity pushing in. Not going to hard commit. Going to let those mice go up. Going to let the fox shoot a couple times from a distance. Got the wolf buff on the fox here.
He has to be really careful not to be too close to Gent when his mice waves run out, because I feel like Gent might be tempted to just go for it.
Yeah. And with all the tier 1 here from Gent, it's going to make the fox shots a lot less effective. You have 5 owls on the way for Epicosity. If you can manage to hold on until they get out, but Gent is on the move. The cams will help clear out this barbed wire pretty effectively. Here we go. Gent's just trying to...
getting in there. Fox gets a lot of damage right away, but there's so much from Gentleman.
Yeah, that third base, the hidden third base here, is probably just going to be GG, especially with that second base going down. Epicosity would have to, like, clear this whole army, keep basically everything around alive. Yeah, that board going out front, it is going to die.
If this Fox doesn't run into the Falcons, it's going to pick them off. It's going to take quite a while. There's basically no anti-air except for the Fox.
Oh my God.
The Owls are doing tanking. I like this. The Owls are tanking so the Fox can get the damage in.
Epicosity gets the full clear. He needs to get another mill going. Doesn't want to lose from starvation. He can just take that campfire, though. And here's the counter push, but Gentleman still has a very large economy. That 4th base does get knocked out by the mice. Man, I would have really liked to see Epicosity just take that campfire, though, because now he's going to have to go home and build a farm. And he really needs to be pushing in here for pressure. All right, take the campfire. You can still do it. It's right there. No, no, no. Oh, man.
This is
okay, but
that's an intense fight.
Yeah, that only delays a little bit. I think he needs to keep going.
Yeah, it feels like Epi might be able to make it happen, though. The board just started. There's only 3 Falcons out.
Yeah, he needs.
It feels like this Fox can get a lot of tier 2 before.
Absolutely.
Just re-stabilizes.
With the 5 owls here, as long as this Fox does not die to the Falcons. Yeah, the problem is there's so much in the air, you know, not only shooting at the Falcons, but also has to shoot out all those pigeons as well. But I don't think Epicosity has the time to be coming back home. I think he's just got to keep pushing in.
What happened to the wolf? When did the wolf die?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. I do not remember.
Yeah, without the wolf, this feels really hard now. All of a sudden, it goes back and forth.
Yeah, and I think all these pigeons here are actually really helping Gent. Gent is starving out, by the way. Since he took that third base so early, it's already totally gone fallow. And Epicosity does need to respect the threat of the chameleons. Oh my gosh, so now the economies are reset. This is such a crazy game. Epicosity's ahead now, though. But the problem is he's got no anti-air besides the Fox, and if this Fox gets backed into a corner, Gent will be able to eventually kill it. Kills the Falcon right off the bat, that's good.
Oh, this is not bad. Not bad for Epicosity.
The board really...
See, there's 5 Falcons left behind the boar chameleon. If this mill dies, Epi won't have anything to buy a farm on. I guess he has that back mill, but...
Yeah, he's still got that back mill, still got the campfire available. Gent is starving out. Alright, as long as this Fox doesn't get boxed in. Don't box a Fox, go south. You still got a lot of room that way. This is going to be Epicosity victory.
Yeah, I think Epi's got it. Epi just needs to make sure to get back to sell. Epi needs to sell something to buy a farm. Probably an owl right here. Yeah. You gotta sell it. You gotta keep the fox alive, and you gotta buy a farm. That's the order of operations. Oh, the campfire works too.
Yeah, this is it, man. Epicosity actually doing it without scouting that back third base. I can't believe it. What a cool game.
Yeah. Just the power of the triple tier 3 coming through. A deck that Gentleman's deck kind of had a hard time dealing with it, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, he didn't really have any
power units.
There was no anti-fox repellent spray in Gentleman's deck. And Epicosity switching it up this time, no fox. So hoping maybe Gentleman overcorrects against the fox, perhaps. And all right, I got my game out where I can root for Epicosity. Now I do need Gentleman to win here.
I mean, you still win the match. Just saying.
Yeah, but you know we need those extra points. Okay. What are the comps? Let's hop into it. Final match of the day, but don't go anywhere after this. We are still going to have some fun and figure out the brackets for the TNT Championship. In the bottom, fresh off a cool victory with the Fox, we've got Epicosity. And up top, bringing it back to the game number 1 deck, we have the Gentleman. You know, honestly, I'm really excited for this match. Like, I love these decks here because they both feel like they're how do I describe it? Like, Epicosity's deck is kind of the solution to the Gentleman's deck, you know. But at the same time, if Gentleman gets out a lot of Falcons, you know, Epicosity would really just be relying on the Snake against that. But this is cool. I think Gentleman's deck in the hyper late game, once he has that huge Falcon army, will probably win, but I think Epicosity is going to have a big advantage, like, right when we get to the Tier 3 phase of the game. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I can buy that. Sounds right.
And I like this map better for Epicosity. You know, these 3 bases are pretty easy to defend. This 4th base seems reasonable. Meanwhile, for
Gentleman throws down a mine before anything else. Very nice.
Where is that mine?
It's on the high ground in the middle of the
I
map.
wonder if Epicosity scouted it. Because that's
I think
actually...
he heard... Can you hear the sound effect when it finishes, I wonder?
I'm not sure. I know you can for Mills. But this map is a little difficult for Gentleman, I feel like. Maybe you can take this 3rd over here at the 10 o'clock, which might even give him access to the, like, 8 o'clock base. But this low ground base in the middle, I feel like, is going to be tough to take, especially if Epicosity takes this natural, gets out a balloon with the extended territory. But again, we see the patented Gentle Eco here, and Epicosity's going to have none of it. Going to be try to outbreed the Gents. Needs to be careful, though, because Gent has some lizards on the way.
Double Warrant Lizard could make things happen.
Sure enough, Gent will move out with these lizards. Not going to commit to a ton more. But this is definitely a couple dead farms over here on the side. Epicosity is out and about scouting. Oh, this is going to be brutal. Gentleman's going to be able to clean up. Okay, a couple of these do spawn. But
3
farms. Yeah, that is bonkers.
Now they're an equal economy, and Epi just has 1 Warren and lost 180 food. It's insane.
Yeah, and I don't think I agree with trying to get to Tier 2 right here. I feel like
another farm goes down.
He needs Tier 1 as fast as possible to stop this. And this is so much damage from the Gentleman. Oh, no.
That was cataclysmic. That was insane.
Yeah. That is like game-ending damage. So Epicosity is still in it. But the cards are really stacked against him. And going up against arguably the best Tooth and Tail player, that's not the position you want to be in.
Yeah, Gent knows that he's really far ahead, so he kind of spends his money and farms up to oblivion. There will be Squizzard Cam for a moment, and if Gent trades away all his lizards, he only has 4 Warrens versus a slight... It would give Epicosity a slight army advantage for a little while.
Right. But Gent looks like he's setting up for the race, and if he just keeps railing down on the lizards, it might be kind of what we saw in the first game, where, you know, the attack from Epicosity is looking good, but then, you know, there's so many Warrens that they just easily respawn. Let's see, Epicosity knows that they're behind, knows they need to make a play. Looking to move out on the map a little bit. Oh, is that mine going to get value? It will. Jeez.
This is good for Epicosity, but Gent has the economic lead, so he'll rebuild really fast. The question is was that too many lizards? That was a lot of lizards that died to those chameleons.
Yeah,
and they're healing in the water.
Yeah, both chameleons staying alive is actually huge. Epicosity doesn't have the time to really bring him home and let him heal, so he's trying to utilize that water healing as much as he can. Gentleman looking for the base trade, but gonna get caught out here in the water. These cams doing a ton of work against these lizards, and both of them live again. That is so huge.
Gent has 5 lizards now. Let's see. It's razor thin.
Oh.
If FB doesn't kill him now, but he might be able to do it. He might just have enough. 1 cam left, 4 HP.
Really, really good control from Epicosity here. Just trying to maximize as much as possible out of this chameleon.
The pigs are helping now for Gent. It's going to give him a big defensive bonus. The cam comes back in.
Look at this cam control. Oh, okay. I was like, come on, that should be in the water. There it is. It's getting healed. Starting to knock down a few of these warrens, but Gent does have the economy, continue to rebuild them.
Yeah, I think that'll do it. Gent holds.
Really close game. Yeah, that was actually really close. And if Epicosity was just a little bit less greedy there and had like an extra tier 1 warren, this could have been a totally different match. But really good job from Epicosity at the end. Some phenomenal chameleon micro. But that is it, ladies and gentlemen, for the Clan Wars. Don't go anywhere, though, because the show is not over.
Congrats to PXB.
Thank you, sir.
Having me on the casting desk.
You're a gentleman and a scholar. I appreciate you hanging out. And
I'm gonna hop out of here.
Yeah,
Good luck
man.
With the draws.
Thanks. I'll catch you next time.
All right, peace out.
See ya. Okay, so we've got the draws coming up. Congratulations to Pboop, yay, my team. Getting back in it. We needed this win today, so I'm happy we got it. Everybody played well. We had some really great games. Having Trumpet on was super awesome. Definitely going to have to cast with him again. And so what I'm going to do is a very brief stream break. I'm not actually like going anywhere. I'm just going to stop for editing purposes and make sure everything's set up for the draw. Get Kipo and Marmu in here. And yeah, we'll go from there. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a moment for the draws.